Thank you, Gustav. We'll see how the mic goes. Somebody was worried. Such a grandiose introduction. I'm just going to talk about how we share what we know today. A really long time ago, 1500 BC, people were painting what they knew as stories, as narratives on the walls, sharing what they knew with the people around them, and for generations to come to interpret. Skip forward a huge lump, they realized that caves aren't very mobile, and people happen to be quite mobile. Between these two guys, we got the invention of paper, and then we had Gutenberg, who a lot of people know, gave us a way to have movable type that was an economically viable way to transfer and document and move documents around the world. And in between those two guys, we saw 2,000 scholars in China try to catalogue and document all the knowledge of their nation. It's quite a lot of knowledge. In fact, it turns out to be 11,000 volumes of knowledge. Super, great. I would love the idea of the point when they go, you know what, guys? We've got 2,000 of us. I think we're going to catalogue the nation's knowledge. Let's go. That's a good let's go moment. Then we see these two guys, two amazing guys. On the one hand, changing the way that we capture the world around us, basically. So, there you go, photography. Taking an image and making it automatically static. Something we see every day, automatically capturing it. And then Edison, amazing, said, how do we record anything? And he invented the phonograph. Great. We can record the sound of absolutely anything in the world. Good job. Jump to our mindset right now, the internet emerged. Epic, amazing, our lives wouldn't be the same without it. We saw Yahoo and Tim Berners-Lee and Gopher archiving, cataloging, all of what they thought was knowledge in the world, but turning it into information. And at this point, I want to pause and ask, what happened to the beauty of that knowledge that we saw in the cave? That very close social interaction of knowledge being transferred from person to person or person to generation. And that's the magic that we're looking to capture when we talk about HowDo. And in this time, right now, digital, web, distributed, we see Wikipedia. We see people collaboratively coming together to share what they know. So volunteers collecting en masse millions and millions of documents, textual documents about how people do pretty much anything in the world. 2004, Facebook. We begin sharing social relationships online on a mass scale. And then what we're trying to do now is capture the magic that we can find. Photographs, sounds, sharing it with the world. So in that path, we saw knowledge going from something that's very close and social, almost networked, into a hierarchical sense, as the tools became more sophisticated to share what we knew. And where we are now, everybody has these tools. We all have access to the internet to distribute what we know. It's just that perhaps we haven't found a most fun or engaging way to do that. So now we jump into the imagination part, next step. We do things on the go. We're mobile, we're social beings, we learn on the go, we experience on the go, and that makes things feel relevant and worthwhile to ourselves. We find meaning by our mobility. We like to share things, a great experience. Think of the last great experience you had. Did it involve someone showing you something, telling you something? Did it make you smile? Did you think about it? These are all key things that we need to find in our experiences. Imagination's got lots of gaps, or it thrives on gaps. And finding those gaps is something quite special. When you think about the gap, have a look at this image. And then wonder what the emotional power of sound does to that image there. So we have emotional power, we have sound, we have images, but stories are really hard to tell without structure, without constraints, without a format. And sometimes we need a bit of help along the way with that. So take away the kid tells a story. Who's here heard a child telling a story? Yeah, great. So I don't need to do and then it was this, and now I did this, and then this happened, oh, kapow! And then you see, this happened, then this happened. They have a really short attention span. And that helps them structure their delivery and also their processing of stories. Great. Their natural format is a super way to tell something. It's engaging to tell and listen to. Turns out we're quite similar to kids. 8 seconds is pretty much all we've got before our internal dialogue interrupts our thinking pattern. So at HowDo, we're trying to capture that magic, the magic and the beauty of knowledge, and engage people in it, and give people a tool. And we're trying to see what happens. So we launched a beta at the beginning of the summer. We've been testing throughout, and we're about to find out what happens because we're going to launch next week. But before we do launch, we would love to invite everybody here into that journey with us. So for the last week of the private beta, we would like to take you with us on that journey. And with that invitation, I also pose a challenge. You don't get anything for free, even in the world of open. I'd like every one of you here to download the beta, and I'm going to put on some music and talk over it, so you can see what you're about to get.
Pick up your wet sock from the floor.
Here's a HowDo.
Plug in the hairdryer and put it onto speed. Attach the sock on top of your hairdryer in an appropriate manner. Max the speed on the handdryer and let it do the work for you.
So that was Nils, one of the co-founders of HowDo, explaining how you fix a wet sock problem. It's quite fun. He obviously had some fun making it. We enjoyed watching it, but we also learnt something. And we also were transported, this magical window, into maybe not quite Nils's mind, but certainly into his bathroom. So we feel like we were part of that experience. And that's one example of sort of the smallest, tiniest piece of knowledge being turned into epic, shareable stories. We've had super time testing and lots of great people helping us along the way, one being the maker community, who have been the greatest sharers of what they know. So as I said, we'd love to invite you, and it would be super if everybody here can capture just one piece of knowledge from the real world around you and share it. Because when we all start to capture and share something that feels meaningful, we can inspire the rest of the world and the future generations to share and understand the knowledge that we have.